closing its store, saying that local councils and the government need to do more to support the high street. Fit Fashion will continue online, but its owners say government policy and inflexible local business rates are making it impossible for traders to cope with the boom in online shopping. The Herefordshire company's internet stores take 4 times as much money, with 3% of the overheads compared to the high street shop. Our reporter Nicola Goodwin is in Hereford's High Town this morning. Morning, Nick.
Morning, Elliot. It's pretty busy here, actually. You can probably hear the seagulls above us, and everybody's waking up for the day. We've got the farmers' market setting out. That's the clanking in the background. And Hereford's quite unique around the West Midlands because we, of course, have this massive square at the centre of the High Town area. It's a place where people are sitting and eating and drinking now. And according to the people that know far more than you and I do, that's what our high towns and our city centres are going to look like in the future. It's going to be places where we buy lifestyle things, spend our money on coffee and nail bars and hairdressers and eating out, rather than things like clothes, books or gadgets, apparently. So places where we eat, drink and perhaps get a bit merry. Luke Connor's with me now. We can just see actually your shop, Luke, with the big closing down sale signs have just gone up in the window. Do you agree? Do you think this is a big change in the high street? It's not just you, it's not just Hereford and Worcester. Across the land, the high street's changing.
Absolutely, and the high street has always evolved from the days when the farmers used to come in to bring their wares to sell them, to the 60s when the supermarkets opened, the 80s when the supermarkets moved out of town, and to the 90s when the out-of-town developments became prolific. And now we're in the noughties and you've got the internet as well. And unfortunately, the high street is taking a triple whammy at the moment. We've got out-of-town developments, we've got supermarkets, and both these pay disproportionate rates compared to the high street, and we've also got a recession.
And in your hand, you've got your smartphone, and you think that's changed the way that people shop completely, you know, in the last year or so.
Well, in the last few years, absolutely. There's a new phenomenon, particularly in fashion books and CDs, called showrooming. So customers will go onto the high street, and we've seen it with our online business. People will go onto the high street, they'll look at the high street, they'll then scan that barcode into their smartphone and buy it online.
I don't do that yet. It shows I'm getting middle-aged, I'm sure. But you know, why do you think more could have been done? What could the council here, councils across the land and the government have done for you? Why do you think that they're not doing enough?
Well, there's a good example just down the road from us in Cumbran. Cumbran is a small town 2 miles from Newport. Cumbran is bustling. You can't get another retail unit. They're all full. And the simple fact is they offer free parking. However, you've got Newport 2 miles down the road. The town centre is deserted. They've got a massive out-of-town development with free parking. And the council, just as Marks and Spencer's moved out at Christmas, decided they'd open one of the car parks in Newport as free parking. Unfortunately, that's a little too late because there are now no shops left on the high street. If Herefordshire Council are serious about helping the high streets, and I'm not just talking about Hereford, I'm talking about the market towns as well, they should start and do free parking. Let's be ahead of the curve. Let's not follow the crowd into the abyss.
What now for you then? The shop shutting, the closing down sale signs are up.
Well, we're very fortunate as a retailer. Just looking at the Telegraph this morning, Nick O'Farr has entered administration. We're extremely fortunate that we have a very strong online business and we have our school uniform business. We shall continue trading. We shall move much more of our business with the fashion side of things online, and we'll make sure that our colleagues have still got employment. So we're in a very lucky position.
So no jobs are going, that's the good news. What about looking around here now? Can you see other independents, maybe some of the high street shops? Can you see them following suit?
Well, I was just reading the Hereford Times this morning, and apparently H&M have now been courted by Edgar Street Gridders, I like to call them, but they're called Hereford Futures now, of course, with their rebranding. And what does amuse me about Hereford Futures is there's a line from Gary in the paper this morning that quotes that we are actively pursuing national chains. So it's clear they're not actively pursuing independent retailers to open other premises in there, yet they're happy to use Fodder's picture on the front of their development. A little bit of jiggery-pokery there, I suppose.
Politics continue, Elliot. The one thing I worked out this morning, sitting here with Luke, waiting for us to come on air, is that if I could work out what seagulls would buy and set up shops in Hereford and Worcester city centres, I think I could rake it in.
Chips. That's what they love. They love a nice bag of chips.
Cold, soggy chips.
Cold, soggy chips. Sell those. Listen, thanks ever so much, Nicola Goodwin there, our reporter, and Luke Connor, the owner of Fit Fashion store in Hereford, which is closing. So what do you think? We've discussed this plenty of times, haven't we, before? The high street, is it changing? Do you mainly do your shopping online? And who's to blame for it? It's us, isn't it? It's us. We all moan, we all cry into our beer about the fact that the high street's disappearing, yet we all run off and buy everything on Amazon and all the online stores. We had exactly this conversation, didn't we? When HMV went under and a lot of these big stores, we all decry the loss of these stores, but unless you use them, you will lose them. So what do you think? Are we to blame for fewer shops in our towns and city centres? And will we miss them when they're gone? 81333 with HW at the beginning of your text. Or you can give us a call, 0845 300 8181. Let's quickly go to the phones. We've got someone on now, and Ross. It's Ross on the phone. Hello, Ross.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm very well, sir, thank you very much. You've given us a call about Egypt, because obviously that's a huge break.